group assignment topic is about AASB 16, the new accounting regulation, which strengthens disclosure requirements, while encourage better economic decision-making for financial users as a result of improved financial reporting. Okay, so let's start with the introduction.
Hi, my name is Tania. I'm going to talk about WSB 16, the new accounting standard, and it has been implemented since January 2019. What is this all about? It's about a lessee is required to recognize a right of use asset representing its right to use the underlying leased asset, and a lease liability representing its obligation to make lease payments. So many experts say it will give us a clear and transparent financial statement for the financial users. But there is a question, because there is no description of fair in accounting standard. So we're going to talk about also how it is affecting some of the financial components such as debt governance, credit ratings, leasing strategy, impairment testing, and tax. So our research will aim to answer or identify those gaps. Our objective will be to formulate or applying some methods which will be mostly qualitative and quantitative. We will conduct some surveys, we will ask some questions to the financial user, how it's affecting their organization, how their credit ratings at the moment, and so on. And by quantitative method, we will discuss how financial statement this year, we will make a comparison between this year financial statement and last year financial statement. And also we will compare previous IAS 17 lease edition and also this year WSB 16 accounting standard, how it's affecting financial ratios and cash flow. We have formulated some research questions where we will try to get the answer from our research proposal. Most importantly, we're gonna talk about why capitalization formula is mostly used to answer or to measure financial ratios. And one more thing, is there any adjustment between lessee and lessor in terms of lease addition after implementing WSB 16? One more I wanna talk about is there any political influence implementing this new accounting standard? We have formed some hypotheses where we will discuss how indirect variables such as arrangement of new lease, liabilities, how it's affecting their financial statement. Is there any positive or negative relation between these two variables? Lastly, we will talk about some framework. In this framework, to formulate our research proposal, we have discussed about positive theory, because we're going to apply positive theory and inductive logic because of two reasons. Because the result we will receive from the from qualitative method and quantitative method, it will give us the possible interpretation or a pattern how they are responding. And also the second reason is several scholars, I'm going to mention the name, Watts and Zimmerman, they have suggested that positive accounting is widely used for academic accounting theory to explain and predict actual practices in accounting. Lastly, I wanna say our research proposal will not be out of limitations or flaws. There will be some limitations where we will suggest the future researcher to work on it using their methods or testing. And next, thank you. And next part will be discussed by my team member.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, let's move to the literature review part. Michelle states that the initial researchers believe that leasing and debit are essentially a replacement for each other. However, one major issue with initial research was the lack of transparency of reporting operating leases and the required means of calculating operating lease costs. as they were essentially off-balance sheet products. The leasing puzzle was defined by Peterson as there is a more complementary relationship existed between leasing and debit. In Australia, leases accounting that was replaced in 2004 by AASB 117 lease. The reissue behind the question of an accounting standard was that the removal from the balance sheet of the leased asset offered an improvement in the efficiency and debit ratios, which could significantly disrupt the firm's risks and performance measures. The results recapitulates there is a significant difference between meetings of the new and existing leasing accounting standards for the years 2010 and 2011, and demonstrates the effect of the new accounting standard about leases, namely AASB 16, also as known as IFRS 16. Okay, so now I'll hand over to my colleague Shrina to explain research gap and research method. Thank you.
This is Shaharina Sharmin. I will start my presentation from Research Gap. From the literature review, what we have discovered that previous researchers didn't really take into account some of the issues that are related to AASB 16. One of them are the researchers focused more on the ratio analysis, but they have ignored the effect on the cash flow statement of operating lease. Interest expense on the lease liability and depreciation on the right of use asset will be reported in the income statement. Historically, operating lease expense was had the focus. But with the changes, the researchers didn't really explain more about profit and loss statement. The researchers didn't really focus on the tax consequence of AASB 16. One another thing is the researchers focused more on the bigger organization. Yes, AASB 16 has more implication on bigger organization, but it has implication on the smaller organization, for example, not-for-profit as well. As we all know, not-for-profit organization has peppercorn lease, which is different to other lease, but AASB 16 has included peppercorn lease as well. That affects the profit and loss account of not-for-profit organization, which was completely ignored by the researchers. The research will be conducted by two methods, qualitative and quantitative. Data will be collected from interviews. We will be arranging interview with company accountant, auditors, CFO, political leader, and all the related parties from various organizations. We will be interviewing staff members or accountants from 50 organizations. The interview will be done using telephone or maybe via Google Teams, whatever suits. Our initial approach to the business will be describing our research proposal with a note about how it will be helpful for their entity as well. In our research proposal, we have added all the related research questionnaires as well. I want to conclude my presentation by focusing on some of the limitations of our research proposal. In our research proposal, we have only considered Australian organization and didn't take into account other international organization. Another one is the research result may vary when large sample is considered. Timeline can be a tricky one in our research proposal. As we know, AASB 16 came into effect from 2019. For some organization, for example, for not-for-profit organization, it came into effect from 2020. So getting the data from various areas can be an issue. In the research proposal, we have discussed our research objective, research questions, and more importantly, research gap from literature review. The aim of our research is to fill up those gaps mentioned. We are reaching out to the organization to get practical data that will be useful for non-professional. It will aid to business success. At the same time, our research can be a base for the future researchers, helping academicians as well. The research will give a logical explanation on disclosing more financial information can make a positive impact on better economic decision for the financial users. Thank you.